Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk quickly about the new promo that they aired on, I think it's on IGN exclusively. That's the first time I've seen the promo. I'll put the link down in the video description in case you haven't seen it yet. They do a introduction with some of the producers and some of the cast in the very beginning, and then it takes like 2 full minutes until they show just really quick glimpses. That's when they get into like the real promo, like a real teaser. Alright, so as I'm editing this, I noticed that AMC posted another teaser with new footage, and this is exclusively, from what I can tell, on AMC's website, so I'm going to leave a link down below for that, and I'm also going to use the original video that you're watching, but I'm going to take breaks and show you new pictures that actually connect and confirm with some things we were originally talking about when I first recorded this. So we'll dive in, and I'll jump back and forth between the two different promos. Again, the two different promo links are down in the video description for anyone who wants to watch them that hasn't seen them yet. The first thing up, this car I do want to mention real quick. A lot of fans are asking me if this is connected to the very first Season 7 trailer we got, where we saw a car chase with what appeared to be Dwight and the Saviors chasing down this car. Now it seems like they cut out a scene in the beginning half where Dwight was chasing that guy down. We're not going to get into the specifics, but essentially when they aired that trailer for the first half, they didn't even film this half yet. I think they only filmed 8 or 9 episodes, so it's just impossible for them to film something that early and cut it and reuse it this later on. It wouldn't even fit. So I think that's something that unfortunately was just cut for time. I think this has to do with the new group they keep hinting at, because we see Rick in a number of situations on the road with his people. It appears they get separated, and I'll show you the images that I think connects together. This image is at the Kingdom with our group, and we see a couple images where it appears they get a good look around inside at the Kingdom. And from the look of it, we get an introduction with King Ezekiel, where it's kind of just like the comic, and this is really exciting, where he comes out and he meet and greets with Rick and the gang. And again, that's just like the comic, and I love that. I can't wait for that introduction. But it also appears that they go back inside and they have this discussion where Richard looks like he gets this brainstorming idea where he's looking at King Ezekiel, waiting to see what he's going to say. We know Richard is for the war. I don't think King Ezekiel's going to want to go to war just yet. He might be hesitant, and that's why we see an outdoor shot where Rick is telling him, you know, join us and fight, and whoop-de-whoop. This is the most interesting image, I think, because at first I thought, man, Negan is pissed and he's finding out information about Daryl. Is he going to visit Dwight and saying, listen, you son of a bitch, da-da-da-da-da. Well, we see Dwight running, so I think Dwight finds out Daryl's missing because he finds Joey dead, and then he goes and checks. But I thought this was Negan checking on Dwight, but it's not, because Dwight's door is actually gray, it's not red. And I went back and double-checked for this red door because I was thinking, okay, maybe all the doors are red in that hallway, and it's not. There's only one door I can find, and guess which door it is? It's the room that was open. It's the spare room that Negan was telling Daryl he can get as long as he says, I'm Negan. So then I was thinking, well, who the hell is new that he's putting in this new room? And then it clicked. Eugene. He's breaking Daryl because Daryl's a hard ass. You know, he's having fun breaking him, but Eugene's broken. Eugene's a bitch. And this image of Eugene perfectly confirms what I just got done trying to predict. Here it is, the red door behind him. He appears to be not locked up, not tortured like Daryl, and they are giving him the softer treatment, but he's eating some type of food here, something crunchy, I don't know, maybe it's like a treat from Negan. Negan's probably going to be knocking on the door. That's where we see this other image from. They're trying to get him to do some experiments. It's looking like he's messing around with gunpowder or something. What I find weird, though, is Eugene's doing the experiments here, and he scares the hell out of Negan's wives, but I'm just wondering, why the hell are Negan's wives here? I mean, are they helping with the experiment somehow, some way? Are they smart? Is this some type of service they're providing where they're keeping an eye on him? Does he trust them in some different way? I'm not really sure. Now here's Rick killing a walker, it seems. I think this is the cool walker with spikes coming out of its helmet, and I think this is with the new group that they showcased around the junkyard. So this is what I think pops off. We see our gang going somewhere, okay? Something startles them in the new promo. We see them, Rick whips around, everyone else whips around. They hear or see something. I think from this point on, they get to a vehicle. We see Michonne in a vehicle, Rick in a different vehicle, and I think this is a chase where Rick is chasing down the person following them, and the person leads Rick alone, because then we see Rick alone in the promos where the walker's behind him. This image that we just seen where Rick is stabbing the walker, if you go and watch it, it's all in that same junkyard area. So I think that Rick gets to that group first. Maybe that was the trap. Maybe they isolated Rick from the rest of the group so they can talk one-on-one. But I think that's what's going on with that scene. Now this is interesting with Negan. I just got done saying that maybe Negan isn't going to torture and abuse Eugene. Maybe he puts him in that room or something. But this looks like the same situation where he burned that guy's face. So I'm thinking maybe something similar is going on here, but do we really need another scene like that? He's no good to them dead the way he is because his brains are smashed open, so he can't put Joey on the wall. Maybe this is the funeral for Joey. Negan is pissed. Maybe Negan says a few lines like, you know what, I kind of like Joey, the fat bastard. But I do think that is something where he's going to rally his troops that this cannot stand. We need to go out there and we need to hunt Daryl down and find him. Now this is a really interesting moment where Dwight is obviously pissed and he throws a dresser drawer. Now he's either looking for something he stashed or some shit is going on that is problematic. Maybe it's Negan pushing his buttons. I think I'm getting really confused with what they're doing with Dwight because I kind of feel like Dwight is the one that gave Daryl the key and said to go. But then there's a big part of me that is thinking it's not. That Dwight was running because he didn't know Daryl left. That Dwight was pissed. Maybe this is him being pissed because Sherry tells him that, you know what, I gave him the key. I let him go because we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have this. We shouldn't have that. And maybe this is Dwight realizing that it's all bullshit. Everything he's been saying is bullshit. He's not happy here. They're not better off now than they were. It's all bullshit that he was feeding himself because he was being weak. You know what I mean? Now here's Negan having a little smirk, and it looks like he's talking to the doctor. Now if Negan did burn or hurt Eugene in some way or somebody else, maybe the doctor is pleading with Negan here to listen, chill, don't do this, whoop-de-whoop, this isn't right, I don't know, something, because the doctor seems like he's got a level head. He doesn't want anyone getting hurt. We seen Mark was burned, but that was because he broke a rule. If Eugene didn't really break a rule, but he did something stupid and kind of reckless, maybe the doctor's trying to talk some sense into Negan not to hurt him. Now here's Ben in the woods. We do know that the two groups are going to clash. The two groups that traded the pigs already, we got a little sign of that. I do think there's an additional run they're going to go on where they're going to run into some problems. Ben might be on the chopping block because I think that Ben dying will help Ezekiel to say yes to joining forces and fighting. I just think that fits. Now moving on, I just need to point out that Scott Gimple has the coolest coffee cup right here. You know when chicks drink coffee or wine glasses, they got their lipstick smeared on the cup? Well, it looks like there's blood, like a zombie was drinking out of the cup or a vampire or something. I don't know. I thought that was cool. I'd like to get one of those. Here's an image of Rosita that I think is really interesting because she's recoiling back as if something startles her, but then she regains her composure rather quickly and puts on this strong face. Now here's Rick and Michonne on a run, and I think the most interesting thing to notice is the fact that Michonne has a gun. So it looks like somebody at the Kingdom gave them some additional weapons, most likely handguns, something small that they can hide. Probably Morgan. We do see an image where Morgan hugs Tara, and I cannot wait for Morgan and everybody to hug, and I am dying to know if Morgan's gonna keep his word to Carol. Most likely he will, but whether or not he's going to tell Daryl about Carol. But I don't think he needs to, because we see this image of Carol pointing the shotgun, and I can't help the feeling that this image actually matches up very well to Rosita's. Rosita was shocked at first, but then looked confident almost seconds later. So this would explain it if Rosita looked up, saw someone aiming a shotgun at her, and it only took her for a few seconds to see that it's Carol. And this is a really quick glimpse, so Carol might not know that's Rosita coming around the corner, or it's in the woods, and you know how TV is, so it might take her a second or two to lower the shotgun. But the most interesting thing, her outfit is different. Previously she had this button down with like a V-neck type underneath, but now she has this strap, this harness that looks very familiar. It looks very similar to the harness that Sasha is wearing. And we know Sasha's been cast for Star Trek. We don't know if maybe Sasha's character is going to die, or maybe Sasha's character is going to go on the back burner a little bit like Heath did. Heath's character is, starring in 24, and they just kind of took him out of the story. So if they're going to take Sasha out of the story a little bit, have her get injured, or maybe have her just running shit at the hilltop, or helping Maggie run shit at the hilltop, she could give some equipment to Rosita, and Rosita could go on some kind of run or some kind of mission. Maybe she's going to find these people from Oceanside and talk to them. Maybe Tara did break down and she says, listen, Rosita, there's people, but we need to be, we need to go and approach them and ask them and not force them and something. Maybe this is Rosita being startled because of the women in that community, and then regaining her composure and being like, no, listen, I come as a friend, whoop-de-whoop, we don't want to disclose your location, or we don't want to get you involved in anything, but you need to hear us out. Hence why she has the equipment that Sasha let her have, hopefully. So while they are at the kingdom, we see Daryl here getting the crossbow. Now I feel like somebody found or has a crossbow. I know Spencer found a compound bow, but I feel like somebody had a crossbow before. Either that, or this might just be Dwight getting to the kingdom and going to talk about betraying Negan, and Daryl knocks him to the ground and goes to kill him with the crossbow, and this is where Dwight says, listen dude, how do you think you got the key? Or something like that. Now, this is really sketchy because, in my opinion, I just don't feel like they built it up enough yet for it to be Dwight. I feel like if it was going to be Dwight, we would have some type of hint by now, but maybe we're going to flashback and they'll show us something. So now this Ezekiel showing up at Carol's house, I'm hoping this is Ezekiel telling her that her people have arrived, and maybe this is what draws her out into the woods where she runs into Rosita. And then we got a nice smile from Danai Gurira, and I think it's important to notice they are both wearing backpacks. Now Rick has a different color shirt, but they're obviously on some type of supply run here. I think that's important to know that they're going to be uniting the communities. They are also going to be introduced to a new community, and they're going on some type of supply run. Anything outside of that at this time is something I'm forgetting, or it's just a secret that we haven't seen yet in the promos. So in closing, we are seeing a lot of the same images, so I'm holding out hope. That means there's a lot more surprises coming for the second half. I am getting the feeling that this is going to be a slow burn build up. Something's going to pop off right at the very end, but then we're going to get the end of the season, and we're going to have to wait until season 8 for All Out War. Now that's something I'm not mad at. I am perfectly fine with that structure. I actually prefer that structure. I want All Out War to be a big deal and to take up a majority of season 8. I'm in no rush to get the war over with. I would be perfectly fine with one entire season of war. I doubt they're going to go in that direction. I don't mean it to sound like slow, but I mean instead of showing, a week go by at a time, each episode is like a half a day. That's what I mean by we might be getting a minute-by-minute playback instead of having a few weeks go by, because I'm just unsure because of Daryl's escape. I'm just unsure they can go that route and have a lot of time pass. You know what I mean? Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about this new promo? Put those down in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.